Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
Breakfast Buzz, a bright and full-bodied breakfast tea, an assertive blend of black tea originating in Assam, Ceylon, and Kenya. Breakfast Buzz is bold with a malted, smoky taste, and just a touch of peat is guaranteed to get your day started right. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies.
All right, thank you all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Yo, what's up? I'm 4ever5.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Okay. I'm from Vancouver, and I do a mix between rap and rock. It's alternative, I'd say. It's alternative rap and rock, and I'm just having fun with what I'm doing, and I'm constantly experimenting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely checked out some of your music, and it definitely kind of spans the gambit on a few things.
Okay.
Before we dive into your current sound, how did you get into music initially?
Initially, just listening to music as a kid. But when you mean by music, as in playing music?
Yeah, how'd you get started as a musician or
okay.
Of sorts?
Yeah, I started playing the guitar at 9.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm getting back into guitar. I just kind of went on and off because I got into production, and it's hard to find other band members. So I'm I kind of got into, I guess you would say the SoundCloud sound/rap.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 2016. I'd say more 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd say I got a lot more into it 2018, 19, and that's when I knew that's kind of what I wanted to do, because it's hard to find people to play with, so it's I might as well just learn how to put everything together myself. Yeah.
And what got you into guitar when you were 9? Was your household musical, or around you do music?
Yeah. My parents, they don't really they never learned how to play an instrument. Mm-hmm. I think maybe my mom, she did choir at school, but maybe that's about it. But it's weird. My sister, she likes to sing. She's not involved in music anymore, but she definitely she did a lot of singing. But for me, I'd say I'm the most musical person in the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're really the first generation in your household.
To an extent. I think I have family on my mom's and dad's side. They I think they played instruments. I don't know too much about that, but I know that they at least played.
No, totally.
But not professionally or anything like that.
So it was around you a little bit, but really you were kind of the one who inspired you to get into it.
Yeah.
And what made you want to pick up the guitar as the first instrument?
Listening to Jimmy, Beatles, Rolling Stones. I'm just trying to think who else. There's so many. King, Smashing Pumpkins, Green Day. There's many.
So you were kind of around a lot more of those classic and early 90s sounds and such.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Nirvana, yeah.
Oh yeah. And then this next question, we have a couple foundation questions we ask everybody just for continuity. And this first one is one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Actually, I think the first album I ever bought on iTunes was, what was that one album from Deftones that came out in 2016? That was called, I don't remember what it was called, but it had the single Triangles, something. I don't remember what the single was called, but it was the album cover with the flamingo on it or something like that. It's kind of vague in my mind, but yeah, that was, I can't think of the name right now for some reason, but that was the first album I actually bought.
Okay.
For myself, I think. Yeah.
No, Deftones is definitely, for a lot of people, that was a really influential sound during that time for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then what was the first live show you ever went to? That was one you wanted to go to.
Live show that I wanted to go to. I went to. Do you know that one dude, NASCAR Allo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a show
hell
early
yeah.
2020. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I message him periodically. He never messages me back, but I've been trying to get him on the show. Definitely.
Nice. Yeah.
Definitely a wild show.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I was at his greet and meet or meet and greet. So he has them after his shows. I remember. Yeah, I took a picture with him and cracked a few jokes. Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
He's definitely he's a great performer. Like he goes crazy.
Yeah, everybody says he's super nice too, which is really cool. Oh yeah. And then before we move into kind of the middle portion where we focus more on the current day, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
I'd say when I got out of high school, that's when I really started to like tone into it. I mean throughout high school, I'd say around age 15 or 16, I really knew that I wanted to do it, but like taking it more seriously and putting the music together, I'd say 2020 is truly when it started to turn around.
Okay.
Where I started to get my foundation set to an extent. Yeah.
Now, just because that time is around, a few people bring this up because that's around the time they got started because of the pandemic. Is that kind of was that part of the catalyst for you? Like just with the downtime, or did they just happen to fall in line at the same time?
I'd say it more fell in line at the same time. It's interesting because I wouldn't say it was because of the pandemic, because I always knew I wanted to do something musical.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the pandemic made it a little more difficult.
Okay, yeah, just 'cause I feel like if you were trying to like play with people and stuff, that probably made it even less accessible.
Yeah.
And I mean, unfortunately, my band fell apart during that time for similar reasons. Yeah. So I get that for sure.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and let's move on to you in the current day. And we're going to get a super easy one out of the way. How did you pick the name?
Me, the reason why I picked my name, it actually has several meanings. So one of the meanings, 4ever5, I want to be like, what was I going to say? So think about a star. Like it has a lot of people have different meanings for stars, or like even a pentagram. Like some people think a pentagram is evil or whatever, but if you look back into the history of it, it has a lot of positive meaning to it. So it's like I think one of the meanings is peace, and I just at least want to try and put that out there. You know, I want to stay like that forever and just kind of put that message out there. And it also means like, you know, when you're young, like you kind of have a vision. And the reason why I say forever is because, you know, I don't want to like let go of a dream and just let it fade away as time goes on and I get older. And I'm trying to think of the other meaning. It has several meanings to it. There's certain like spiritual and philosophical meanings to it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I definitely dig that.
Yeah. If that makes sense, I was doing the best.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. For me, I was thinking that it was forevers. Like the 5 was an S, and you were doing the whole numbers on as part of like letters thing. But
okay, that's even cool. That could be another meaning. Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. People can interpret it however they want. Because I know there's a lot of artists that do that, and I think that's actually pretty cool because it allows people to give it their own meaning. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a unique name for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, thanks.
And then let's go ahead, let's talk about your writing process. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music, what are some of the things you do to get a track started?
For the process, I either start off with a melody. It's really interesting because when I have a melody down, or let's just say I have a beat just laying around, it's funny because I'll have like, it's weird. I'll hear it and then I hear the vision for it, and I kind of have like the whole structure to an extent in my head, and I just kind of put it together along with what I already have. Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of intuitive. I used to write with pen and paper, but now it's very impromptu. Okay. Now.
So you just kind of improvise everything kind of in the space.
Yes, it's somewhat written, but I will sometimes write down bars or lyrics, but yeah, for the most part, it's impromptu. I have a basic concept and I write around that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I dig that. And then once you get a track finished writing, so like it doesn't have to be like released and everything like that, but once you've written it all and you kind of have the feel for how it's going to go all the way through, how long does it usually take you to get comfortable performing it?
What do you mean by performing it, like recording?
Oh, well, I mean,
or as in
like when you do it live.
When I do it live,
like how long does it take you to feel like you would be able to do it live?
Usually what I do is sometimes when I'm at home, like I'll pretend to perform some of my music, and I've done 7 or 8 shows, so I've gotten more comfortable. I don't do them too often, but when I get a chance, yeah, I'll definitely go out and do a show. But yeah, it's just kind of a process for me. I'm slowly getting more comfortable with it.
But more, I mean, like, what's it like once you finish a track? How long does it take you to feel comfortable performing any one track?
It's
like, does it take you like a couple weeks? Does it take you like a month? Are you one of those people, like you have to like, design a whole set? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
That's probably the best answer for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then I guess like for your music, are you like one of those people where like you're just like play each song, or do you design your own sets when you perform?
I actually haven't done too much design for sets. I actually, that's one thing I'm thinking of doing in the future. Do you know Hyperbeam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Hyperbeam.
Have you interviewed him?
He's been on the show before.
That's right, yeah. He invited me out to a show Saturday, and I performed a song we have together. It's going to be coming out soon. Yeah, he has like this design to an extent with his sets, and I think it's really cool, and I like the way he puts everything together.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's sick, yeah.
And then looking at some of your music, because you've actually got a pretty fair amount of music out there. I mean, your Spotify goes back to like 2022. I didn't get to jump on SoundCloud. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like you've got 5 albums on there. You've got a grip of EPs, a ton of singles, and your sound is pretty broad. And I mean, some of them are wild. Like, I mean, like Hush, Rageland, Falling World, sorry. And I have to ask, do you put exclamation marks on the end of every track that's like a crazy, like one of the more wild tracks?
I'll do that sometimes. Like, I can't remember. I think Iron Boy, that track has an exclamation mark on it, I'm pretty sure. And that one's more of a rap track, so it's not like super in your face. It's somewhat laid back, but I think that one has an exclamation mark.
See, and
I'll do that sometimes, yeah.
And I noticed the only like crazy track that didn't have the exclamation mark on it was Graves. And that was the only one where I was like, oh, this is hype. But I wondered if that was because the beat itself wasn't hype. You were just like getting really rowdy over it.
Yeah. That's an old-ish song. I made that like a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was 2022 for sure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, your tracks even span the gambit on like time. Like there are some of them that are, you know, like, what was it? Middle Fingers Up was like 6.5 minutes. But then Short Choir Song was like 5 seconds. And that one was fun. The minute-long album concept, that was an interesting take.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to make an EP 1 minute long, and it's funny because one of the songs was like 6 seconds, one of the other songs was 5 seconds, and I think...
And the last one was 48 seconds.
Yeah.
And I know
no way, that one's cool.
There was one where the name was so long, it doesn't finish scrolling before the song ends. So there's actually no way to know what the whole song is called.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
On the computer, which I didn't do. I was Bluetoothing speakers from my phone. But on my phone, I could never see what the full name of the track was because the song ends too soon.
Yeah, the name of that song was something like, the track is so short by the time it's done, or something like that. It's like you won't be able to read it before the track is done.
Yeah, well, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it because you can't read it before the track is done.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I think out of all of your tracks, because I listened to pretty much everything that was on Spotify.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
I would say Alakazam was the one that stood out to me as my personal pick.
Yeah. Someone I know. Yeah, he made the beat for me. And he has a different style.
It's really like the beat itself was like, it was almost too distorted. It really was on the edge, but it was like melodic. It was really interesting that it had such like dominant progression in it for the sound that it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm curious to know which of your songs is like your favorite one to perform.
I'm just trying to think of my catalog real quick.
And I mean, you could even look at like just mostly recent stuff if you want.
I think, because I'm trying to think of, because I know my more recent music is the stuff that I really like, even though I still have some older music that I like, but I'm honestly, I feel like I'm constantly evolving sometimes.
Yeah, your sound is definitely progressing for sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a good track. Rageland is cool. That one's fun.
That is a fun one for sure.
Yeah, it's fun to just go wild. I remember this one time where I was performing that song, and I didn't know him, but because he was a few grades above me, but I met through like mutuals. His mom was there, and I performed like a couple like calm songs first, and then Rageland came on, and then she was like, "What?" Because the other acts before that, there were two others. They were calmer. They were a bit calmer, and when that came on, she was like, "Oh, it's getting real. It's getting real."
Yeah, that would definitely be a wild one to be the first one that you go wild with.
Yeah,
I could do that. And then looking at your more current music, so let's like even focus on stuff that hasn't come out yet. What are some of the attributes, the characteristics of your sound that's your more new stuff that you're enjoying?
Like as in,
like if you had
musical influences right now.
No, more if you had to describe your sound. So like really like I want to think like descriptive words here. What are some of the elements of your newer tracks that you really enjoy?
I really like personally how I'm kind of breaking down the structure of just a mainstream kind of structure, if that makes sense, because a lot of rap music is either chorus, verse, chorus, and then sometimes it's two verses or one verse and then chorus that's sandwiching the verse in between. But for me, I just try and break it down and add bridges and add maybe beat switches and tempo changes, scale changes to a different section of a song, and I think I'm getting more, I'd say, rock influence, because I've been listening to a lot of like modern metal, like Bring Me, Spirit Box. So I've been putting like rap, kind of like to an extent the new wave of rap and that together. And I don't see a lot of people doing it, but it's just kind of what I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah, I can definitely dig that. That's exciting. Definitely looking forward to hearing some more of that. And then expanding outwards. So now we're going to kind of look at music in general first.
Yeah.
What are some of the more recent changes in music that you're enjoying and in trying to incorporate into your sound?
Yeah, I think just adding more complexity, but also understanding that simplicity is also good too, because it's so funny. Some people are like, "Oh, I used to be all complex, and I used to be a conscious rapper, and then when I did all this like hype stuff, people started listening." And that's the thing. I don't want to change my sound for anyone else, but yeah, it's interesting. I think it's also a smart move to, I guess, maybe capture someone's attention by, experimenting with simplicity, but also I'm not going to shy away from making long songs. I'm going to stick to obviously continuing to make things complex. And I really like to make complex-ish melodies too.
Oh, yeah.
And rhythms, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
And then before we move on to the next portion, this question's probably the densest question we have in the interview. But we've talked a lot about, your experiences with music, the actions, the reactions, things like that.
Yep.
But when it's just you and the music one-on-one, what does the music give back to you?
And when you mean so what do you mean by that? Like, as in, how does it make me feel?
Yeah, like what is the like fulfilling aspects of music for you?
It's a release for sure. And it's also fun. It allows me to kind of express myself and just be kind of loose sometimes. Yeah, because sometimes if I'm kind of angsty, like I'll put that on a song, or if I'm feeling kind of down, I'll put that on a song and make a song about that. If I'm feeling very hyped up and I wanna feel amped up, I'm gonna let loose and just not put too much. Or obviously, I'm gonna put some thought into it, but not put too much thought into it. That relates to the simplicity that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. No, I dig that.
So just kind of having I can't think of the word, contrast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like having contrast.
Yeah, no, I feel that for sure. And I think that's kind of a big part of it is, like you got to be able to enjoy what you're doing, but also like being able to communicate yourself through your music.
Yeah.
Is such a big part of, why so many people do it just in general.
Okay. Yeah.
But now let's go ahead and let's move on to some hypothetical questions. And for these, the questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. Sky's the limits.
Yeah.
This first one's pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
For some reason, I was thinking about this recently. There's obviously a bunch of people, but for some reason, I was thinking about Flux Pavilion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love his production.
Yeah.
I'd be sick to work with him.
Yeah, and how like, would you want to like be featured on a song? Would you want to have them feature on a song with you? Would you just want to have them like guiding you on their techniques? Like, how would you want to work with Flux Pavilion?
I'm down for anything because I feel like it would be cool to hop on his production, but it would be also really cool to let's just say if it released under my name, it would be cool to mesh production along. I mean, or maybe even me play and add the guitar to his along with his production too. I haven't really thought about that side of it too much. I mean, I have thought about it, but I don't have any solid foundation.
I mean, like that would be such an interesting intersection of musics, because yours is definitely more, like in that kind of like alternative rap rock realm, whereas he is a little more on the electronic side for sure. But I think
I like electronic.
Yeah, I mean, the presentation of sound, I think, is what would really blend well. Like he would really be able to like show you some ways to get that presence of sound that would just kind of define everything underneath and give you a lot of room to do stuff. Mm-hmm. That's definitely a really solid collaboration.
Yeah, he's also worked with other rappers too. I can't remember some of the other ones, but I know that he's worked with Childish Gambino. That song was cool. I bumped that. Do you know what song I'm talking about?
I don't know. I don't remember the name. I'm the worst with names.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
it's all good. But yeah, that one I was bumping back then. That was cool.
Oh yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local artist you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Trying to think. Who have I not seen? I know there's a few artists in the Portland area. I think Grim Salvo, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, do you know him?
Yeah.
Have you heard of him? Yeah,
I'm definitely familiar with the name.
Yeah, he's pretty big, I'd say now, but like I remember I found him like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was just like amazed by not only the production, the sound and the complexity of just kind of his tracks. I was just kind of blown away. I was like, dang.
Yeah, no, that would definitely be a fun one for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere. It'll work. Where would you want to perform?
I have a lot of ideas, but I do have this one idea. For some reason, I want to perform in the middle of like a forest or a desert. Like I've had this idea for a while. There was this one time where I was down in, I don't know why I got this idea. I was down in Bend, Oregon, and I was in this area that seemed really cool. And I was like, yo, that'd be so sick if I threw a show here. I don't remember where it was, but it was like, it's really hard to describe it. It was kind of like in the mountains-ish, but it was like, obviously it's very deserty, but it's really hard to describe where I was. But it was like this foresty, deserty area, and it's kind of like in this secluded spot. I don't know, I have to ask my sister where it was, but it was a really cool spot. Like I would just like I would go there, just throw like a very secluded, no, not super secluded show, but like have select people come and just have a good time. Like that'd be cool. For some reason I've had that idea for a while.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, it'd almost be like a renegade of sorts.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then for the last question in the hypotheticals, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have put out an album yesterday, they could have not put out an album in 100 years. Who would you want an album from?
I'm just trying to think. Trying to think of a good one. Yeah, I'm a little stuck on this. I'm just trying to think.
No, y'all good. Since
Nirvana, I mean, I feel like it's kind of cheesy, but Nirvana, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, their career was short-lived, unfortunately. I think Pete died really young too. Yeah, I really liked his sound too. He had a very like distinct way of how his vocals were mixed and layered, and yeah, he kind of just like had that feel that like not a lot of artists give. Yeah, he was 21. It's like, dang, yeah, that's too young.
Yeah. I mean, that would definitely be. I mean, especially given that they were kind of from here for a little bit, so that would definitely be cool for sure. I was gonna say because I whenever I think of them, I always like to throw them in. But since you said Flux Pavilion, I went electronic. I would love another Pretty Lights album.
Okay,
that would be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and October?
Now in October, so it's April right now. So an EP coming out really shortly, and then another one. So I'm not releasing albums for right now. I'm just going to stick with continuing to release EPs. I don't know. I feel like to an extent that's a smart move because it's like if I don't have like a big audience for myself, I feel like it would be cool to just drop EPs. I feel like that would be a little smarter, but I'm just doing it even just in general, just to, I don't know, just for myself too, because I think it's kind of fun just to drop EPs. It's something different.
Yeah.
I like just doing different stuff. But yeah, an EP's coming out really soon, probably in the next week or two. And then after that, another EP that's probably going to drop in maybe May, and then I think I have another EP after that. I have just a bunch of stuff just kind of laying around that I'm working on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
Yo, you could find me on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, SoundCloud. I have some more tracks on SoundCloud that aren't on Apple Music. And all those, those other mainstream platforms, because, I've done a few covers and I've also I have songs that, I don't know, I didn't really feel like putting up on all platforms, because of like quality reasons. I'm like, I'll just leave that on SoundCloud. And, I don't know, you could find me on Instagram or even YouTube. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Yeah, I just want to say shout out Hyperbeam for bringing me out to that show. I can't remember the band that I met. I have to look at their name again because I just met them. They played really well with each other. Yeah, they were very in sync with each other. I was very impressed. I just don't know. I just can't remember the name. I have to look at the band name again because I just met them like a few days ago. Yeah. And I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else. Shout out Illusion. I've known him for a while. Shout out who I'm trying to think of one more because I'm just trying to help.
No, you're totally
shout
fine.
out some cool people that I know. Shout out Zax. He's cool. We did a cover together. I can't think of too many names right now, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shout out to a few people for sure.
Totally fine. I always say shout out to everybody that you've done music with. You know what I mean? Like that's usually a good one to cover for it. But we're gonna go ahead and get this wrapped up. But before we do, I've got one more question. But before we do that, I'm gonna steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. But with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's a deep cut. Not a lot of people would know it. Maybe it's something you listened to a while back, but it's one you think everybody should know.
I'm gonna think about that for a sec. Because I'm trying to think of something that's. Because some of the albums I'm thinking about right now are kind of popular, and they did get the attention they received, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I feel like they could receive more attention. I'm just trying to think of a good album. I don't know. I really like one of the albums that kind of inspired me to change up my sounds is what's it called? Post-Human Survival Horror.
Okay.
From Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
It came out 2020. That was just a really good album. Yeah, that album's pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, definitely a good one to go check out.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm thankful for being on the podcast.
Yeah, happy to have you.
For sure.
And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm 4ever5.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.